So success as a poet is when the other person can understand not just and words, the meaning and your emotions also. If they are able to understand that, then you've really done a good job. That's why
Oh,
everybody can become a successful writer. So you might be
oh.
using the right of words, the best of words, the best of English or any language for that matter. But it does not touch the other person's soul, right? Then you're not a poet. You're just written some words.
Welcome to BuildWriting, the podcast for poets and literary writers seeking clear guidance and fresh ideas. I'm your host, Onyemechi Nwakonam, and today we'll explore how to turn everyday moments into powerful poetry. Our guest is Shreya Suraj, a mathematician whose bold free verse has been published in anthologies around the world. She's also a devoted mother and environmental activist who's led hundreds of beach cleanups and a creative recycling art maker. Shreya brings a unique blend of precision and playfulness to her work. In this episode, we'll discuss spotting poetic inspiration in ordinary objects and experiences, balancing structure and spontaneity in your writing process, infusing every line with energy and meaning. Let's dive in and build your writing together. Tell me your name and what you do.
I'm Shreya. I am the I'm a mother of two kids, wife of Suraj, and the daughter of Raghu and Padmaja. And then I was in a place called Chennai. I was born in Chennai, and I am 48 years old. In 2 days is my birthday. I'll be 49.
Oh, wow. Wow. Congrats. Wow.
4 days, 4 days, 4 days. Yeah,
Wow,
and
that's when I know there's time
17th,
zone differences, but what
yeah,
day is that? Today
17th
is
of June. Oh,
17th.
today, yeah, 17th of June is my birthday.
Okay, today is 13th for
Okay.
me, right? Currently.
Yeah,
So
it
17th
is.
of
I
June
forgot.
will be four
Yeah,
days.
49. I'll be 49. So we
Wow.
say 50th birthday. Let's see. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do anything special, but yeah, good fun.
So
Yeah.
you will have to do something special. I'll be looking forward to the 50th birthday, right? I'll be expecting a truckload of what's the common food in India?
Oh,
Uh
we eat a lot. We love food. We have so many varieties.
okay.
So
Okay, so
yeah.
what's your favorite you would recommend?
If you come to India, I would tell you go to a South Indian. So we have North, South, East, West. So South Indian, dosa, idli, vada. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. Well, I'm really, really happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. The thing that makes me sad right now, it's the fact that I'm not in India. If not, I would have come to your house and then I'll come with my
Absolutely.
stomach completely empty and ready to be filled up. And I'll eat until I can eat no more. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love cooking. I used to live in Qatar till 2023, and then I moved to India. So I was born in Chennai, and then I grew up in another east part of India called Kolkata. And so that place is again very culturally rich, a lot of art, architecture. And, then I moved to Bangalore, did my graduation. So I'm actually a master's in mathematics. I'm a gold
Oh,
medalist in math. I love maths
wow.
and I love
Yeah.
numbers. And coincidentally, I loved art also. So I used to write a lot of poems when I was a kid, but then nobody they looked at it as a joke, not something serious. Uh,
Yeah. So
now,
when did you like when would you consider yourself to say, oh, this is when I actually started writing? I know, of course, there's the time where we write and we just experiment as kids, but then there's a time where you're like, oh, I am a writer now. We're like, I am a writer. Like it dawns on you.
yeah, I mean, like I had this, so I've been very creative. So I'm a very creative person. You just give me something, I'll make something else beautiful out of it. So creativity was something, it was always there. And few of my poems, like you say, we used to have school magazines. Remember when we were like, I think you're much younger than me, so you must have gone through. So we have something called the school magazine, and I used to give articles for that. It used to always get published. A few of my poems have got published. But I think more serious writing was after this was my third marathon. The first marathon onwards, I was like, not bad. I can write 24 poems in an hour, so in a day.
When
So
was this? What year was this?
about 2023. 2023, I
Okay.
started writing. During Corona time itself, I used to write a lot of poems, but that was like occasional. There's a competition, you write it, you get selected, and then it gets published. Serious, I haven't published my own book as yet, but I've taken part in a lot of anthologies, and it's been good. It's been really interesting.
Yeah. At what point um did you feel like, quotes and quotes? You see, I'm using air quotes here.
Hmm.
Oh, I am a professional writer.
So in Chennai, we have a group called the Indian Poetry Circle, IPC. Over there, this was very funny. This was like 3 months ago. I used to write as a hobby.
Yeah.
I actually saw people clapping for me. I was like, hey, not bad. My poem does make sense.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I'm like, yeah, I am a writer. I'm a poet. Yeah. Yeah, wow. Um, you started
But
poetry matter. How did you were saying something?
yeah, I was just saying that I have another lady also called Gloria who keeps publishing poems every month.
Oh,
So with her also, she used to tell us, Shreya, just give one poem. Earlier, I used to think poem means it has to be rhyming, last word. I used to forcibly make it
oh,
poet. So she was like, no, just go free verse. That's when I think my whole creativity started. It became
wow,
better.
wow.
So
Oh, that's an interesting discovery. Oh, that's
yeah,
now you realize that, I mean, I could do anything. I could make up lines. I could break them up. I could like make the lines as long as I want, use the words
yeah,
as much as I want. I create the rules, and that itself is a
yeah.
very powerful place to be.
Yeah, so that was
Yeah,
good because that has been happening almost every month. Some poem or the other has been getting published in her anthology also. It's an online thing, but still enough for encouragement. At the end
yeah,
of it, poem is for your own soul satisfaction more than getting published and stuff. So it was good.
yeah. It's yeah. So you write the poem for yourself, and then it's also
Yeah,
it's a good thing to have the poem being shared with the world too.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
How,
Mm.
how did you hear about Poetry Matter? What was your first introduction to Poetry Matter?
I think it was on the Facebook. The first poetry marathon which I participated was on Facebook. I think I'm lucky in one way. If something is destined for me, it just pops up on my screen. That's how I say. Or it comes on my way. So it just popped up on my screen and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And I started participating. I think Sandra or someone was the admin. She had so the first year which I participated was on Facebook. Then last year it was on Circle, and this year again it was on Circle.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I registered and I was like, okay, not bad.
Let's see what this is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and just when the migration from Facebook and Circle, which of the platforms do you prefer?
I think Facebook is more accessible, but then Circle makes it exclusive. Because Circle, what
Mm,
advantage? It was so nice because I could see everybody's poetry and say it said R1 and everybody wrote it over there. So it was very organized. So that was very nice about Circle. That was the best part.
yeah.
Though I had to open one app, so I had to type on Word, edit on Word, bring it to because I have like two phones. So one my Circle is on my other old phone, and and my laptop is connected to my India phone. So,
Oh,
so I had to
yeah,
transfer from Word to WhatsApp and then cut, copy, paste to Circle. I mean,
yeah. I thought I was the only one who used WhatsApp to copy and paste between devices. Now I've seen someone else who does. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. How do you prepare for the poetry marathon?
So I like now I'm joined with many. I told I'm a part of IPC also. So
Yeah.
people keep publishing something or the other. Keep putting thoughts, and we actually have chartered accountants, doctors who are not professional poets, but they probably write better poetry than anybody else. So I keep talking with them. Plus we have these open mics also. So when we go there, I keep listening. So and you listen, you learn more. That's how I did. And then plus something or the other keeps coming on the screen. So I think algorithm knows, okay, this lady is interested. Come, let's start showing her this poetry. So when you keep reading a lot, it stays in your head and then you start applying it. And especially
Oh,
during before the marathon also, lots of poems, lots of other poetry also kept coming. So even if I
yeah,
didn't consciously want to search for it, it kept coming and it told me like, prepare, focus.
yeah. I'm quite interested in how, let's say tomorrow is the marathon. What are some necessary preparations you would make so you can, successfully do the marathon without any because we all have a life to live, right? So without
Yeah.
any interference. So what are some necessary things you put in place so you can do the marathon well?
I charged my phone and my laptop properly. Suppose
Very
there was, this
important.
is India, so suppose there is a power cut, do I have a backup? If my laptop dies, do I know how to do it on my phone and then cut, copy, paste to my thing? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I like that. That's something that I understand and I can relate with.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is Nigeria. I mean, for me, I do have power bank, so and the power bank it's quite high, so usually it can cover me for a couple of days. Yeah,
Oh, nice. Mhm.
yeah. Well, now that yeah, well, you mentioned that you've had most of your poems published on some anthologies, magazines. Yeah, yeah. Having your work being shared with the world, it's nice. Yeah, and to have a place where you can just tell people that, oh, I'm a writer. Where have you published any of your work? Yeah, you can check it on this platform. It gives this what's the word? Quote unquote. I'm using air quotes here. Yes, to your writing. It doesn't mean that you could as well not publish the work. It won't still discount the fact that you're a writer. But most persons just consider you legit when they see that, oh yeah, she published her work. Yeah, she knows her stuff. She really understands stuff. Now, would you be kind enough to share with us one of your poems that you've published, right? Just read for one
I
of
mean,
your
the one
poems.
which was recently in the marathon, or some of any
I
of my
would I
old
would
ones.
say I would say I would have said you shared from the marathon, but the thing about sharing your poem is, there's all these rules that once you share the poem online, you can't, especially when you submit it into a magazine. So I wouldn't want a
Mm.
situation where because you shared it on the podcast, you're
Mm.
not eligible to publish it on the magazine. I don't know if it makes sense. So I prefer you share
Oh,
with
okay.
me something
Something
you've published on the
about it.
magazine before.
Okay.
Does it make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
understand what you
and
mean.
you can pick a poem from the marathon of previous years that you've published. So that way it's
Mhm.
both a marathon and it's both published.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, because I see those fine prints. Please make sure that the poem has not been posted online and stuff like that before. And I'm like,
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you one. I like writing poems which you're able to see my screen because I
oh,
have
you want to
my,
share a screen?
no, I don't want to share screen. I
Wait,
I mean, are you able to see me?
oh yeah, I'm able to see you. But if you want to share a screen, you can share a screen if you want to.
Okay, it's okay. I mean, it's fine with me. I can just say from the thing. I can send the poem also to you if you want later because it's one of my favorite ones. So I
Okay,
like
if
writing poems where there's like a puzzle, at the end of it, right? So let me start one. So this is
okay.
cell, right? Forever in my hand, always next to me. You sleep next to me. You're not my child, yet you spent maximum time with me. A few inches long, a few grams of weight. New models of you come out regularly. You are
Mm,
becoming attractive day by day. You
wow.
measure my breathing. You measure my walks. You carry an ocean of knowledge. I never taught you anything, yet you are so smart. But I have a complaint. You take away all my time. I'm so lost without you. Are you a cell phone or a prison cell? Only time can tell. So, this is about
Oh,
the cell phone, which I just felt like I was too attached to
oh,
it, and then the poem just
oh,
flowed.
wow. That was a what's the word? That was a roller coaster. Like it's short, but it goes up and down of emotions. Like like you forever by my side, and then I have a complaint, and I'm like, oh, what's the complaint? Yeah, only time can tell. Oh, that's a beautiful piece. When did you write this one?
Probably 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago.
Well, it was in the marathon, right?
Not in the marathon. I mean, yeah, I used it in the marathon also before. After the marathon was done, then it was not selected for the other anthology. I think somebody else was planning to make an anthology, right? So this didn't get selected for the anthology. So I was like, okay, let me send it to Gloria so that she can publish it in her.
Wow, wow. That's brilliant. So this one is published on Gloria's anthology. What's the name of the anthology in case people would just want to check it out? The title of the anthology.
I don't know whether it was there. It's there on Facebook all over the place. I don't know what's the name of her anthology. I take part in so many things. I forget what I take part in.
Yeah.
I think it's called Glory Mags. It's called Glory Mags.
Okay, okay, Glory Max. Okay, so you can check it out if they want to see a continuation of other poems like that in the collection. Well, thanks for sharing that poem with me today.
You,
I feel like
if
I
you
feel
want.
like you took a slice of your emotion and cut it out and just gave it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I read poems.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
my poems as such, no, like there's something when I was in the kitchen, So suddenly I got this idea and can I share? I mean, like, can I talk?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like my little secret, a bite here, another nibble there, tasting and testing the flavor. Let me be naughty. Nobody is seeing, nobody will notice. It's my little secret, a secret close to my heart, closer to my waist. The secrets begin and end in the kitchen. It's like, because all of us know, like ladies, I don't know about the men, but at least the ladies, when we are cooking, we do a bit of tasting and testing. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the poems. Recently, I spoke with Amanda Porter. I don't know if you know her. She's a
yeah, I
moderator,
know.
and one of the things she said is that she thinks of her poem as snapshots. Like you take a photograph of a moment and
Yeah.
you capture it. Yeah. So and that's like when you read a poem, I could just imagine you tasting and testing. Yeah, and yeah, it's like a photo. It's like when you look at a photograph and you could get a glimpse of what was going on when the person took the photograph. Yeah. Um, what would you say? I love to asking this question.
Mhm.
What is poetry in your own words, in your understanding, and what you see in your perspective? What is poetry?
Poetry is what a person is writing, and the other person should understand. Your poetry should not be so high that the other person who's listening to it does not understand what's going on. I'm sorry to say, but when I hear Shakespeare and those high level poems, I'm like, what is he trying to say? Why doesn't he say something in simpler words? So I
Yeah,
like writing poetry which is like can be understood by all.
it's Shakespeare poems. They're actually simple, and I know there are like poets that have had like really hard to understand poems, but Shakespeare is like I can remember the one of about love where like what's the line? I've forgotten it, but it's about you are like summer and stuff like that. And then it was like there's one he wrote about writing. It was like the job of a writer is to make what is new seem old and what is old seem new. I can still remember that line from one of his poems. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow. I was like, this
Yeah.
is the secret, right? Because there are writers, they write old stories that we've known that they're cliche, but yet when we read the books, we're like, wow, I can't believe this book is fantastic. And I'm like, this is the actual story that we've known before. How come you're saying this stuff is fantastic? But they made it seem new, like it was something we've never known before.
And one more poem of Shakespeare I used to like was The Seven Ages of Man. I love that poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
See what I'm
so
saying?
beautiful. I mean, that made sense. I mean, it had a flow, and then it was so thing. See, I'm not a literature person, I'm a maths person. So for me, it's about numbers and understanding and results. It's like problems and solutions. So if you
Yeah.
ask me, like, tell me in a very creative way, I'll be like, what? I can tell you in one sentence. So probably if you had interviewed a poet, she would have told you in a very creative way. Mine is very simple, like you can understand it. So like I had a rat which came running into my room, a month ago. I made a poem out of that. And everybody seriously, it had a part one and then a part two to it. So it's all about fun and spreading happiness for me. So that's how I look at poetry. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
It's sharing. I think, who I can't remember the poet who when he was asked to define poetry, he said poetry is recollected emotions, something like that in the lines of that. And poetry is supposed to make you feel something. That's I'm of the belief of that your poetry is supposed to make someone feel something. It doesn't have to be happiness, it could be sadness. I mean, I've read poems that made me cry. Like
Yeah.
what's the I don't know if you know of Chinua Achebe.
Yeah, I actually, when the poems make me cry, like I'm like, why do you write such a poem? Why can't you make it so sound nice? But
Yeah.
then, like you said, it's supposed to represent the
The
like where what
emotions. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
emotions. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There was a poem like I can't remember the title of the poem, but it's by this author Chinua Achebe. He's a Nigerian author. He wrote Things Fall Apart, and it was about the Nigeria Civil War, and it was about a mother, right, in the one of the ID camps, combing the hair of a child that she knew was going to die in the evening. And the way he expressed it and wrote it, I felt like, you know how you could sense the tenseness in the atmosphere, but yet the mother was still like combing and plaiting the hair of the child. And then there was a point where he said, like, in the past life, this was what she did before he went to school, something like that. And but now
Oh,
this is what she does, waiting for.
yeah.
I'm like, man. And I like poems. If I read a poem and I'm like, I don't feel it feels like I'm reading maybe a journal, a scientific journal. I I I feel I know everybody writes their poem, but I just feel like, nah, it's supposed to like touch the heart of someone out there. Like, you can't guarantee the feelings they have, but they should feel something.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
See, already there is so much of negativity and trauma and sadness in the world. So with my, so I'm an artist also. So if you see all these works behind me are my
Yeah,
artwork.
yeah,
Yeah. So I
yeah.
like
Wow.
brightness and color and like, I'm like, already there is so much of sadness. Why do you want to be more sad? So even with my poems or my artwork, so I like to spread that smile. And I'm like, okay, just that 10 minutes you can smile. Why make you more
Yeah.
sad? I have a friend who her husband recently passed away. So she writes such melancholic poems. I read her poem. I can't read beyond the second line because it makes me so sad. And I'm like, okay, I don't want this sadness now. I know it's a sad thing, but then I don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah, but then that's a topic one could also look at, because now a lot of writing poetry is how they process some of their emotions,
True.
sadness, happiness,
Mm.
worry, grief. Writing poem is how they actually let it out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but her
Yeah.
poems are beautiful. I think she had also participated in the marathon. Maybe I can tell her to like connect with you. So, and
Wow, that would be
poems
fantastic.
are
Like, that would be.
beautiful. I mean, like I meet her. She's such a simple, sweet person. Amazing person and amazing poet also. And like if you read, I think her name, I don't know. Can I tell her name out in this podcast or?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can,
so her name
definitely.
is Vidya Shankar from my place, home, Chennai only. Oh my God, her poems are literally beautiful. I think you should like search up for her on the podcast, on the thing itself, circle itself. Beautiful poems.
Yeah.
I was
I'll
like,
check out. I'll check out
so I
her
asked her
profile
once.
and
Yeah, I asked her, I'm
yeah.
like, how do you come up with such words? And she was just laughing and she patted my back, and I was like, okay. So,
Ah, wow, wow, that's incredible. Now, the follow-up question I would ask now is similar to the first question I asked, but then it's, what makes a poem?
when it can touch another person's soul, either by smiles or by a tear. When it touches it, it's a poem. It does not need to follow rules, It does not say, so we have so many types of poem, which goes A, B, B, A, and then A thing. I don't know, Ranga, Tanga, so many haiku, so many types are there. As long as you can convey what you can convey,
Uh,
you have done your job.
yeah,
Because,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so many stuff. Because the thing is, a lot of questions beginners have, like you mentioned earlier on, that when you started writing poetry, that you had this preconceived notion a poem is supposed to rhyme, right? And
yeah,
until someone told you that, no, you could write free verse, like just write
yeah,
what you want to write, and that for you was like a really defining moment on how you started approaching your.
yeah. Because when you
Yeah,
have rules, no, then it limits the person. When I say I want you to write a haiku, it's like I'm like, I don't know how to write it. I may not be of that type. So it stops me from participating in that. But when the moment I say you write what you want, like how the marathon was, see how many people participated. It encourages
yeah,
people.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
nice.
That's the thing. When I was in high school, one of the well, on our literature teacher, because then in the way the education system works over here is, I think I don't know if it's what they call it over there in India, but it's class. That would be class four, right?
Okay.
Yeah, they call it XS1. They divided the junior and secondary school, but it's called class four. You're mandated to take all the courses from both arts, science, commerce, and social sciences, all the subjects. You take all of them. That way, you get to decide and choose if science is where you want to go, or arts, before you then choose in class five that, oh, I'm going for sciences. No need to take all those arts and commerce courses. And our literature teacher, she was teaching one of the figures of speech, and she taught the thing called poetic license, and
Mm,
I fell in love with that figure of speech. And she was like, as a poet, you have the license to use words as you please. And I was
Mm.
like, wow.
I wish I
And
had
she
done
was,
that teacher.
yeah. And I was like, wow. I was like, what do you mean by this? And she was like, normally, if you cannot use, like, you cannot just say things or use words anyhow. Like, normally, if you're writing a paper, or let's say you were having a conversation, if you say anything out of the context, or out of the rules of English and all that, we'll say, oh, she doesn't, she made a mistake. It's an error. We should correct that. She didn't say what she's supposed to say well, right? But then, if as a poet, I could basically say anything. I could even create my own words to express how I feel. And then,
Yeah, right.
yeah, and I loved that I could make up stuff and make up things, and I had the license to do that. That itself was a power move for me.
Actually, what you said, it reminded me of something what I wrote. So I have a Labrador in my house, a dog, a Labrador
Yeah.
breed. And I don't know why I'm paranoid about that dog. Poor thing, gentle thing will be lying over there, but then still I'd be scared. So I had made a word, like I just coined a word and called it Labradorsaurus. So,
Yeah. Yeah, Labrador. Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
isn't that how all words are made? They're made by humans who, like, oh, she used this word to describe this.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
there are many silhouettes that don't exactly explain the product that we're named after. I could think of some, like, what's an example of a word? No, it doesn't even make sense when you look at the thing. It's what's I can't even remember one right now. But usually there are so many in English where you like, well, how come you call this thing this stuff, but it doesn't even have this thing, right?
yeah,
And you wonder what's going.
yeah.
Wow. Now I want us to look at the personal and then a little bit of philosophical in terms of writing. And the first question I have, how do you how do you define success as a poet? Or
So success as a poet is when the other person can understand not just and words, the meaning and your emotions also. If they are able to understand that, then you've really done a good job. That's why
oh,
everybody can become a successful writer. So you might be
oh,
using the right of words, the best of words, the best of English or any language for that matter, but it does not touch the other person's soul, right? Then you're not a poet. You're just written some words, even if the simplest
yeah,
of words, like haiku. This haiku, it's something I see, it's very beautiful. It's very simple, but not all can write it, even though it looks so simple. So if a person who can express something in even 3 lines, the whole essence of it, that's a successful poet. It does not measure
oh,
about how many books you published. That does not matter. You pay money, you can get books published. You touching the soul is priceless.
oh. That's what you just said is going to be a soundbite that I would use on social media,
Ah,
because a
sure.
lot of
Go ahead.
persons a lot of persons they second guess themselves because they are not quote unquote published, and they feel that, oh, the moment they become published they will be eventually become a writer. And I'm like, it's your work is just put out there online. If you don't feel like a writer, you won't feel like a writer if you get published. It's not gonna happen. Oh,
Yeah.
uh when you write, for the poems you write, what do you hope, um the readers of your poem, what do you hope they get out of?
First is a smile because I'm the happy type of poet. So
Yeah.
the smile. So if it can make, so my first critic is when I'm typing something, my children come and they're like, "What are you doing?" And believe me, my daughter is 25 and my son is 17. So if they look at my poem and they don't do this right, they're like, "Ew, your poem is boring." If they have smiled means I was like, okay, my battle is won. So that's what it's for me.
Well, and
See, the first critics, no, is your family, the spouse, the kids, and then followed by the spouse, and then the friend.
yeah,
Then only it's the public. These three, they are the
yeah,
best critics. They can tell you, see, it's not nice. Don't set this. They actually make sense because they are literally your well wishers. And then you can always go
yeah,
to the public and like publish it.
yeah. And then most of the times it makes sense, except of course your goal it's to write for the elite academics in the professors and university. Then it doesn't really matter what regular people who are not necessary poets see or think of you. But if you want to write for people to understand, people to see and make sense of, then you should like say, oh yeah, read the poem and look at their face, not just what they tell you. And I'm like, when they read the poem, they're like, yeah. They look at well, yeah, and then they tell you,
Yeah.
that's a fantastic. And they're like,
Exactly.
look at me, talk to me, tell me the truth.
So when
Is
there
that
is a,
I should I?
when there's an open mic, people, they don't go there to listen to others. Very few go there to listen to others. Most of them, it's like, what do I publish? And okay, fine, my social media thing is done. So if others are even listening to you are that much also successful as a poet. Otherwise, it's like you
Yeah,
look at the poem and somebody is scrolling through the phone, means you can't hold the attention of a person when you're in a room. What will you hold the attention of a person who's going to even buy your book? No, that does not
yeah,
help.
yeah. Yeah, I've always fancied the idea of an open mic, and for me, I've been thinking, well, what would be the logistics, of having an open mic? And I've been thinking of doing one virtually, of course, but then I'm also doing one, in real life too. But uh, do you have any idea of what it takes to do an open?
First is a good venue, a
Okay.
good place. I mean, a good venue can even be a park or the beach. You don't really need to go to a fancy restaurant or a fancy hall or something. Plus, like-minded people. If you have like-minded people, you don't have to look at the age. So in our open mics, we have an 87-year-old also, old, very amazing man. He comes like totally bent. He comes and participates. Plus, we have even we don't allow the small kids to participate, but then one kid did want to participate, and so that. And then, or you can have an age limit. This to this. But it should be like-minded people. They should not come there to do a favor to us. They should come there because they love listening or talking. So that's the first thing.
Yeah,
And then a bit
I
of
love that word.
planning. Yeah. So a bit of planning should be there. So it should be convenient. It should not be on a week where everybody is going to office or something. So that is the first thing, the timing. If the timing is good, automatically people will come. And nowadays, I don't know why people think that only if you're getting something out of it, you will do. It's just about like when friends meet, right? We don't sit and have an agenda like, what will I gain out of this friendship? Same way, an open mic should be like, they should not have an expectation from it. They should come there because they enjoy listening and giving out what they want. So if that open like-mindedness is there, then the open mic is a success.
How often do um how often is the open mic held on your end? Like, is it every month, every week?
Every month. The first month was a big success. We had almost like 25 people. Second month, it
Oh,
was holiday season. So we had 6 people. So what the organizer did was, he's like, okay, so what if there are 6 people? Each of you tell 3 poems of your choice. So we didn't
wow.
feel that, oh, it was only 6 people at Atlanta. We had so much to listen. We had so much to bond. We had so much to discuss. Not just monotonously one after the one telling the poems and all. So that's the thing. Plus, he now started off online sessions also, so that others from outside Chennai also can participate. So that online session also has been going on for the last 2 months. So it's all
So,
good.
is there a specific day he does the open?
He does the open mic once every third Saturday in one place called Odyssey, and this is with the IPC. Plus, we have other groups also, like the British Council has their own open mic once a month or something. But then, see, you can't participate in everything. Not everybody can participate in everything. So people, when they have too much choices, also they will choose the one where they'll get the maximum limelight. Everybody likes the limelight. So that's
Yeah,
how it works.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing. I've been thinking of putting one together online and having an open mic that is actually help. Right, it's not just a place where everybody just goes to pass time, but an open mic where you live in the open mic, you're inspired. You entertain, you you get feedback on your writing, and it's free, and everybody's comfortable. That's the reason we call
Yeah,
it open mic. Emphasis the
exactly.
word open. People
Yeah.
feel comfortable sharing their poems, and it's not like, oh, judgy, everybody's judging me.
Yeah, right, right,
It's a
right.
family.
Yeah, it's a family. It's a
Yeah,
poetry family. Yeah. So that's
yeah.
what.
Well, yeah. I would ask this question, and I'm just curious. Right? Um, since you've been writing, have you ever made money writing? Like from
Money out of writing, not yet,
have
but
you ever
then
gotten paid for?
not yet. But then I am an artist. So when I go to do workshops over there, I don't lose out a chance to tell my poem. So I'm an environmentalist. So I've gone done like 400 beach cleanups and 300 art workshops. So whenever I get a chance, there I get paid. So there I go tell my poem about my the earth, show the earth that we care. So that's one of my favorite poems. So I go tell that whenever I get a chance. So I think one of those little tweaked versions was there in this month's that marathon also, where there was a dialogue between a plastic and the earth saying like, why are you not melting, and was something like that. So it was like a dialogue. That I think there was a
Yeah,
prompt which said have a dialogue, no? So I made that between earth and plastic as if they're fighting with each other. So
yeah,
I go and tell these poems in a public place. I get paid, but I don't think it's for the poem, but it's for the general.
yeah. In terms of writing as a whole, right? With all the different parts of writing and different experience of being a writer, what would you say is the specific thing that excites you when you hear or you're doing it or you see people like, there's so many things. There's publishing, there's writing, there's editing, there's revising, there's getting paid for your work and all these other things one could do as a writer. What are the things that excite you and you look for?
Well, in India, I don't know whether I'll get paid, but then somebody who is writing an anthology is getting paid by me because she is. So what she does is she gives a topic and she says, okay, people participate. So we have literally 200 people who participate in that. And then she says, like, if you want the certificate, you have to pay so much. If you wanted this book, you have to pay so much. So she's getting rich. So if I want to get paid, what I should do is maybe have a competition so that I'll get paid.
Shreya. Ah, wow. You can't make that stuff up. I'm glad we could record it on camera. Wow. Yeah, and it's you're not far from the truth. Okay. Yeah, that is it's
Truth of
yeah.
life. I mean, the
Some
biggest
magazines
truth of life.
yeah. I mean, some magazines they do pay, but not all the magazines. And that's another topic of another day because most magazines, because of funding issues, some magazines, really good magazines, they end up going out of publication, and it's really sad.
Yeah, so like almost 25 years ago, I used to write to one magazine called Women's Era. The magazine still remains, but they used to give me 100 rupees. 100 rupees would be
Ooh,
100 rupees. It's like probably $1,
yeah.
$1.1. So what do you do with that money? You can't do anything much with that. Probably I would get a samosa over here because that's expensive, how expensive things are. So
Yeah, I mean, you could get a cold drink, and when you just drink it, you're like, "Wow, this is my writing. I
yeah,
got paid for this," and you just let it soak in, and maybe write a poem after that about the experience.
yeah,
And
yeah. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense that because the economics of writing itself, it's not like every other industry where most of the magazines they're not even making money; they're just trying to keep up.
yeah. So like the now on Instagram, there are a lot of competitions which happen. So my poems do win a prize. What do I get out of
Wow,
it? A certificate, a shout out, and then they'll say, if you want it to be published, please send us this money so that we can send the book and the certificate to you. And I'm like, oh God, okay, keep
wow,
it. I don't want it.
wow.
So
Well,
yeah.
I mean, now that you mentioned this, I can think of certain contexts off the top of my head that pay really, really
Ah, okay, sure.
well. And I like, well, because I could think of some. And the interesting thing is that some of them, I think most of them, they don't charge you a submission,
Hmm.
right? It's free. And of course, the thing is, if they are paying, say, really good, they pay tax, sometimes $2,000 for the price, and it's free.
That's nice.
But then usually it's a body that is paying for the cost, like a grant or an organization that has money and that. But for the independent context, in those situations, it's quite hard. And there are a lot of scams out there. They tell you pay $5 for submission fee, and
Yeah,
they gather the money, and that's you don't
that's
even
it.
see
Done.
anything or hear anything.
Yeah, true, true, true. But yeah, but then the
Yeah.
one which I pass through, it's called Blue Publishers. It's on Instagram. So they do a good job. Okay, they do take money for us, but then at least at the end of it, we do get a certificate and then we get a small trophy if you pay for it, that is. And then your book comes in hand. So there are like different packages. Okay, 299 you get an online per certificate. This much you get this much. Next 1,000 if you pay, you'll get a trophy and this. So if you see one of the trophies is from there, then I was like, I'm not
Wow.
paying. I don't know. But then these are the ones which are deserving trophies. This is the paid trophy, the one on top of that, the one with the star. It says that
Yeah.
my poem got published. And I was like, I'm not wasting my money. So Sometimes I don't even bother to pay for it. I participate and then I get my virtual certificate and done with.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it's one of the things I have noticed, and I'm just going to put it out there since we're having this conversation is I'm kind of I feel for literary magazine because of AI and all that because a lot of people would spam submit with spam
Very
submit. So one of these days I'll be thinking it's an episode idea I have for this podcast is I would love to have a literary magazine editor come on the podcast and I'd love to ask he or she how how they handle and deal with submissions in the age of AI generated content.
way you can make out, there are some words which AI uses. And the way the comma comes and the dash comes, I mean, with experience, you can make out. You look at it and you're like, hey, this is not human, this is AI. And then now you have an AI, we can humanize the AI. so, so every, there is a
Uh,
hole for everything. But see, at the end of it, the person who's participating should have the honesty in them. If you don't have
yeah,
honesty,
yeah,
then
yeah,
what is the use? I mean, you're cheating yourself. So yeah,
yeah. How do you say that something is your work when you do not write?
yeah. I mean, it's
You're
so
like, oh,
common. Yeah, it's so common. Like a poem is one thing, even artwork, we just put it over there, somebody just steals it, removes our bookmark, and then says this work was done by me. So
yeah, that's absolute. That's what that's right.
yeah.
I know there are AI generated work, but it's nice if you tell me, oh, this art was generated by AI,
Mm,
and there's no problem in that. Or if it's a poem written by AI, oh, it's written by AI, right?
mm,
There's no, but then you're like, oh, this is my poem written by me. This is my artwork. I wrote, I designed it, and did everything. And that for me, it's dishonesty, and it's not like
yeah, that's the sad part. What to do? But that's what after Corona, that's what has happened. Lots of
yeah,
too many
yeah,
poets and too many artists all over the place.
yeah. I mean, the world is it's evolving. Yeah, I'm curious to see what's the future would look like for right.
I don't know. It's going to be difficult. So sometimes I say my artwork, right? I love doing art, but then when you want to go do workshops or something, they don't pay you well. So I take private maths and science classes as a hobby. So I say my maths and science are my bread and butter, and my poetry and my artwork are my jam and cheese. so,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember a quote by this author. His name starts with ATH. I can't remember the full name, but he's a popular. Oh, why can't I remember his name? But he's a popular WH Odin, something like that. I don't know
Mhm.
if you don't know him. And in this day, he made a quote that in this day and age, you make more money talking about writing than actually writing.
Yeah, that's the thing. So if you
Yeah,
actually see the bookshops, right? There's to be when there's a beautiful bookshop called Odyssey in Chennai. That
yeah.
bookstore 25 years ago used to be packed because children used to come buy books. Now, if you go, the bookshop is empty. Sad
Ooh,
because nobody wants to buy books. Nobody has the time for
yeah,
buying books, and nobody wants to even encourage other thing. So, how do artists or writers make money? It's very difficult. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and most of the people who make money from writing, like writing as like say, oh, this is my writing. Either you have a book and it sells, or you are teaching people how to write. Like, oh, you're teaching how to write a poem, how to you have a class on that, and then you get paid for that. Or you could maybe be an editor and get paid for
Or you organize a competition and then take the money and then publish
the
some of it.
Yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that. And you just you charge them, let's say this is it, you charge them let's say £20 or $20 for
Yeah,
submission fee. And
yeah,
then you if you are if they are kind enough, I won't use the word kind, but sometimes they just take $5 from the top of each of those $20 and use it as the
yeah.
prize. That most of the time if they do that they're generous, but oftentimes it doesn't have they pocket the $20 and then you still have to pay certain prices to get pay a certain amount to get certificates, get this, get that, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
it's really hard and sad.
yeah,
And then there are really good contests out there, but just that sometimes we're not even aware of.
yeah. True, true, true. Yeah.
Um, I want us to just talk about the experience doing the poetry marathon. how would you say the poetry marathon has changed or influenced your writing?
It some of the poems, the prompts were very nice, like the prompt on hope, the poem which I wrote on hope. Then something as crazy as hippopotamus. I looked at it, I laughed. But then I loved what I wrote at the end of it because it brought back some memories for me. Somebody like, so I was walking on the road, I was chubby. So I and my friend, both of us were really chubby, as youngsters. I mean, not that I'm not now, I'm still chubby, but still, I was chubbier. And so when we
Yeah.
were walking on the road, we had somebody who just, I mean, we were probably what, 15 years old. He just peeped out and he said, elephant twins, you know, name
Oh,
calling. That was so rude. And then, but we loved elephants. So instead of like getting offended, we started laughing. So that's when I read the word hippopotamus. No, I was like, I mean, like seriously, that thing just flashed into my head. So if you read my poem, it's based on that. It's on name calling and how rude it is. Yeah, so some of them were
yeah,
really nice. And even the
yeah,
one on hope, the hope also. So it was like more, I wrote it and I sent it to my son. And I was like, see, this is for you. So don't lose hope at the end of it. So yeah, it was nice.
yeah, yeah. I love that poetry has given you a way, and not just poetry marathon has
Yeah.
given you a way to to really go back and recollect the memories and the experience and actually put them in writing
Yeah.
and kind of really.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much, Shreya,
Thank
for
you.
accepting my invitation and being a guest on the podcast.
So what would you be doing with the podcast? Would you be publishing it anywhere or something? Or
Yeah, I'll be publishing it on YouTube. I'll be
oh,
publishing it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all the audio platforms. And if you want, I could make clips out of it for you to post on your social media
yeah,
platform
sure.
as your own
Send it.
content.
Of course, obviously. I mean, I would love that. Let me know how
Yeah,
I
and
can
then
promote you also. I mean, like
yeah,
you're still doing such a wonderful job.
yeah, and then if I do maybe up to 10 episodes, I would then create a roundup where so those some of the questions I ask you like what makes a poem. I'm having a concept or an idea where I can ask a couple of poets or maybe 10, 15, depending on the light of, and then I'll make an episode what makes a poem, and each different guest they show like you shared the way you just say, oh, poetry is this, and another guest says the poetry is this, and it'll be a
Oh,
nice
that's very
episode.
nice.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I'll let you know once I have your email. I'll let you know once it goes live. But
absolutely.
before I end the interview, you did mention briefly over the course of our discussion. You mentioned what you, but I'd love for you to like take the a minute to really talk about what you do and promote yourself, and where people can really learn more about you and really work.
Yeah, so I'm math teacher by profession, artist by passion. I have my art group called Anybody Can Draw, where I have done 300 plus art workshops for all types of people, from age of 5 to 85. So I do a lot of artwork. So these are all, so this is an olive oil bottle, but
Wow,
I've done a lot of, this is called quilling. And this is again out of glass bottles, which I found in a beach cleanup. So this is called
yeah,
decoupage. So, so
wow.
I do a lot of recycling art, and
The
I love. Hmm.
the painting behind you, is that a painting or is that a collage?
It's a painting. It's a proper painting.
Oh,
So
it
what?
looks like a collage.
No, no, no. So actually, my daughter's an architect. So I do a lot of recycling art. So what she used to have lots of these rolls of paper which she has used up, and there's a print on it, and I didn't want to throw it. So the back side was plain. So I made this painting on behind that.
Wow, wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Where can people learn more about you and what,
Yeah.
what
Yeah. So all these boxes behind me, they're all like probably soap boxes or Amazon boxes. So like when you get items, you see Amazon boxes.
yeah, yeah.
So I make sure that I don't sit and buy items and all. So like I do a lot of recycling. So if people want to connect with me, I can teach them how to make these kind of works. And this is by rolling newspapers, and you can make a
Wow,
mandala out of
that's
it. So
that's that's brilliant. What shape is
it's a
what's the
circle.
design on it?
It's called
It
a
looks like a
mandala.
star. Oh,
Yeah,
Mandela.
it's a
Wow.
mandala. So instead of
Oh,
by making a mandala, having a compass and doing it, you can always do it like that. And a lot of,
oh.
again, recycling art. So technically, this would have been my son's question papers, but I made it into a. So that's what I
Could,
said.
could you
Oh,
call out what you made it into? Because some of my listeners are listening on audio platforms, so they can't actually see what you're showing.
oh,
But those
okay.
on YouTube, they would see it.
Yeah.
What's
So this is technically my son's question papers, which I would have thrown into the dustbin. So I've painted it on one side, and then I folded it like a fan and made
is
it
that
into
the
a
map
circle.
of? Yeah.
This is the flag of India. So saffron,
Oh,
white,
sorry,
and green. Yeah.
flag. Why did I say map? What am I even
Yeah.
thinking?
And the
I
blue.
meant to say flag.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I
Wow.
know. So this is how I don't like buying unnecessarily materials for doing artworks, you know. So like I
Yeah.
said, it should be art or poem should be accessible by all and understood by all.
Yeah.
So not just
Yeah.
extravagant, what would I say? Exclusive work. So this is again a plate. It had gone rusted. So I had made this
Wow.
plate and I've done a mandala on it. So
Wait,
it's about
what's a mandala used for? Because right now I see it's beautiful. I'm like,
so
what's a mandala?
mandala means like how everything has a center, right? So we all started from a seed. So technically, our seed is the ovum and the sperm, right? So we have a center and then we grow. So same thing. This is a center. All these are concentric circles. So it's 100% mathematical, and every circle with different radius. We have. I do the thing, and between the
Yeah.
circles there's a space. So I painted that with a color and I put my own design. So in a particular space, it's the whole design is repeated. So it's about repetitive patterns, but in a space. And that is called a mandala. And
Wow.
mandala it has spiritual meanings also. So if you see Buddhism, they have lots of mandala. They have a lot of mandalas, and even in temples and all. If you see the roof, they have the thing to say that you start at the center, you spread out. At the end of it, you come back to where you are. So to dust, from dust you start and to dust you return. So that's what
Yeah.
the whole concept of mandala is. So you can even use
Yeah.
it for meditation. So it's a very calming thing. So if you sit and draw circles and you do doodling on it, right? It's a very calming thing. So it calms you down and it, like you say, left brain, right brain, it collaborates both, and then you land up. Actually, it improves your writing skills also. So more you use your right hand and left hand, right brain and left brain, ultimately you will become more creative. So your writing also improves when you do all this.
Yeah. If someone wants to like work with you or contact you, where can they?
They can write an email or they can connect with me on this is my email is sushkhbh@gmail.com. It's a very funny name, but yeah. Or they can contact me on Instagram, Shreya Suraj ABCD. So I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram on both. So
Yeah,
Shreya.
the thing that with dropping email, I would have loved to drop your email on the show notes, but this is the thing. There are these guys bots online that I don't know, they just scrape emails online, and so what you notice is that for no reason you just start getting people sending you emails that you're like, how did they get my email? And
Exactly.
it's
That's the
because yeah,
problem.
it's publicly there. So I would love for you to say the email again so that those that are listening now, and if they are watching on video, I'll spell it out on the spot. I don't really feel, because of security reasons and all that, I don't want to put it in the show notes so that people cannot just scrape the internet
Oh,
and
let
access
them
the email.
contact me on Instagram. I'm there. Shreya
Okay.
Suraj ABCD.
Okay,
SHREYA.
I'll put the handle in the
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
description.
So they can like
Wow.
connect with me over there. So that's much better. So I'm always on Instagram. So doing something or learning something. I use Instagram
Yeah.
more for learning than for self promotion.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Shreya. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I'm really glad you accepted my invitation. I feel privileged.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure for me too. Looking forward to connecting with you again. I mean, it'll be good.
I will. I will. Yeah. Thank you for listening to BuildWriting. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and share it with a friend who loves poetry and creative writing. Leave us a quick review or rating. It really helps others find the show. You can also connect with me, and I'd love for you to subscribe to the newsletter. I send all the behind the scenes things I'm experimenting on and things I'm working on in terms of creative writing. Yeah, it'll mean a lot to me. And I shared the writing prompts, behind the scenes, speaks, and more. Yeah, a lot of things. And if you have any questions or ideas, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be sure to respond. Love to hear from you. Next week, we'll be diving into something really, really amazing. And you have to tune in next week to find out what that will be. Until next time, keep writing, keep building your craft. See you next time.